Having developed your purpose statement and having decided on your conceptual verb, whether it be examining, investigating, evaluating, synthesizing, analyzing, whatever verb you've chosen, you now need to stand back and look at that purpose statement, which we did cover in the last video, and to ask the following questions to test the integrity of that purpose statement, and thereby test the integrity of the entire project. Is this report going to prescribe recommended actions? If not, well then is it just describing a situation? So either it's describing a situation or it's describing and then prescribing. You need to know these things up front. Thirdly, what level of blooms does my report use? You will recall from the last video we decided there are 6 levels, starting with knowledge at the bottom, comprehension, application, analysis, judgment, and creation at the top. Usually engineers and researchers work at the application level. That would be the 3rd level from the bottom. And then 4th, can I create an hypothesis up front? So for example, is there an obvious conclusion that can be drawn, even if just imagined, from the purpose statement? The introduction starts off with a purpose statement, which could very easily be a single sentence paragraph, and that we've already developed. Then it has another 5 sections, including history and background, need, scope, method, and definitions. In this video, we cover the first 2, and future videos will cover the other 4. Firstly, this which you've already created, if you recall, we did investigate the capacity for wastewater treatment for a particular township. The purpose statement must declare what you want to achieve. That's effectively what a purpose statement declares. Secondly, it must include a conceptual verb, a word like investigate or analyze or synthesize or examine or anything that you want to achieve. And then, of course, subject or topic, in this case it would be the wastewater treatment works, and then a small scope. Well, it would have been, if you recall, it was township XYZ, west of township XYZ or whatever. So the scope would be, in that case, a geographical scope, but it could also have a chronological scope, which would be time period. Okay, then the things you avoid in your purpose statement are, of course, there's no argument here. You're simply stating what you want to achieve. There are no definitions, and you're not telling the reader why you're doing this report. You're simply stating what you're doing. So that's 1 paragraph, and usually the purpose statement is 1 sentence. The second paragraph or group of paragraphs in your report introduction focus on the history and background. So there must be relevant facts or information for the reader that need to be covered. And depending on the reader's prior information or the extent to which he or she is already informed, you might embellish this or you might restrict it. But in the case of our wastewater treatment works, we might need to talk about how much the township has swelled in population, how old the previous wastewater works were, whether or not there were wastewater works, whether there were septic tanks or there was a normal sewage plant. Whatever it is, we need to give this reader relevant facts as a background, creating a context. Flagging refers to certain issues you want to raise in your history and background that you're not going to actually discuss now, but you will pick up on later in the body of the report. So an example for this particular report would be, let's say, the legacy of apartheid for that particular township meant that there were no wastewater treatment works created, okay, because it was, of course, one that dated before 1994. So that's just a flagging issue. You raise the flag, all right? So broadly speaking, what does my reader need to know as a background for this? And of course, some readers may need to know more and others less. Okay, so what you avoid with your history and background are opinions. You're not going to state any kind of opinion here. And conclusions and recommendations, those come later, obviously. And you're not going to raise trivia. Trivia would be relatively unimportant facts.